Assalamualaikum dan selamat tengah hari. Good afternoon everyone. Selamat datang semua rakan-rakan pendidik ke dalam program Effective Learning Design based on SAMR model with Apple Educators. Okey, cikgu seperti yang terpapar, program ini kita akan ada 4 sesi sepenuhnya bermula hari ini dengan tajuk Effective Flipped Learning Design. Kemudian pada 5 yang akan disampaikan oleh Dr. Zakia. Kemudian pada 5 hari bulan, hari Sabtu ini, Effective Classroom Learning bersama dengan saya. Kemudian pada 7 hari bulan pula ialah Effective Project Based Learning Design bersama dengan Prof. Madya, Dr. Azma Putra, dan pada 9 hari bulan, Effective Home Based Learning bersama dengan Puan Nur Hayati Maskat. Sesi kita pada hari ini ialah berkenaan dengan, kalau tengok pada tajuk tu, berkenaan dengan Effective Flipped Learning Design. So Flipped Learning Design ni, saya rasa Flipped Learning ni mungkin para pendidik semua dah biasa dengar, cikgu-cikgu, pensyarah semua. Saya rasa ini bukan benda baru untuk kita. Tetapi sekarang ni kita nak melihat bagaimana Flipped Learning ni kita laksanakan atau kita execute dia, kita lakukan dia dengan menggunakan teknologi.
Okey, Assalamualaikum dan selamat petang kepada semua cikgu-cikgu, pensyarah-pensyarah yang turut serta di dalam sesi kita pada petang ini. So, adalah Effective Flipped Learning Design dengan SAMR with Apple Educators. Saya kenalkan, saya adalah Zakia daripada Fakulti Kejuruteraan Mekanikal Universiti Teknikal Malaysia Melaka. Dan saya juga adalah Apple teacher. So before kita start the session, okay, let's recall apa itu the flipped learning. Right, so traditionally in traditional classroom, cikgu berada di hadapan dan student akan balik ataupun buat assignment di rumah. Okay, but based on the punya definition, okay, so flipped learning is a pedagogical approach, okay, where the direct instruction move from the group learning space, dari the class, to individual learning space. And resulting, the space is transformed into dynamic interactive learning environment. Okay, so where educator guides the student to apply concept and engage creatively in the subject matter. So that one is the definition of the flipped learning. So basically, kita nak bawa flipped learning, okay, menggunakan SAMR model, okay, where we integrate technology in our lesson lah. So usually in traditional class, okay, kita gunakan untuk flipped learning ni biasanya dia ada dua lah, class dengan in class dengan outside of class. Okay, so traditionally guru di hadapan dan murid-murid akan buat assignment or anything outside the class, right? But in flipped learning, okay, we flip dia punya all the contents, okay, put the contents online. Okay, so student can access all the lecture notes, all the contents outside the class, and during the classroom tu, okay, we do all the brainstorming, all the discussion, so that kita boleh engage on a higher cognitive level. Alright, so hari ni saya nak tunjukkan how I design my subject. Okay, untuk contoh ni is non-destructive testing, okay, untuk high ed, but it can be applicable untuk various level of education lah. Okay, so what is SAMR model? So SAMR, so it is actually a framework created by Dr. Ruben Pretendora. Okay, so they categorized the integration of classroom technology into 4, which is S, A, M, and R. So S is substitution. Okay, so substitution meaning to say the technology act as a direct substitute, okay, with no functional change. So kita akan tengok nanti apa contoh-contoh teknologi yang kita boleh gunakan as substitution. Okay, A is augmentation. So where technology acts as a direct substitute with functional improvement. M is modification. So the technology that we use in our classroom in planning our lesson, so it allows for significant change tasks untuk redesign. And R is redefinition. Okay, so it allows the creation of new tasks, okay, which previously inconceivable. So basically, it transformed the whole how we traditionally conduct our learning. Okay, so as I mentioned before, untuk flipped learning dia ada in class dengan outside of class. So we will focus on outside of class first. Okay, so what are the educators' role? Okay, in order to ensure that our classroom tu successful lah. Okay, so that one, okay, traditionally all the contents, okay, usually we have in class. So bila kita buat dia punya flipped learning ni, all the content tu dah jadi online. So we need some platform and of course what are the materials to upload online. So educators' roles ni adalah the main things untuk educators' roles adalah to create and curate resources. Okay, it could be in terms of keynote, in terms of clips, in terms of images. Okay, so first thing before we curate all the resources, we have to plan, okay, which lesson that we want to flip, and we have to basically outline what are the outcomes of the lesson that we want to bring in. Okay, so it could be lecture notes, tutorial, quiz, test, assignment, or any lab, right? Then we need to record it, okay? So like a video, okay? And upload it in a platform online so that student can have access to the content online. Okay, so for example, in UTM, we have ULearn, okay, UTM e-learning portal where every content that we created is uploaded in the ULearn so that student will have the flexibility to access the content anytime, anywhere before the class session. Alright, so S again, S is substitution. So contohnya is lecture notes and also lab procedure. So it could be in PDF. Okay, let me show sample of my ULearn. Okay, dah nampak ya? Okay, so bila substitution, okay, meaning to say we upload kita punya lecture notes, kita punya lab procedure, boleh upload dia punya lecture notes, right? So for example, this one is in terms of text. So boleh letakkan text, image and also PDF. Okay, so mana dekat sini ada contoh PDF. Okay, so here are the resources. Okay, dekat resources. Okay, so kita boleh upload kita punya lab procedure in terms of all the PDF files lah. Okay, and we can arrange according to our lesson. Right, so that is considered a substitution because everything yang before this we share in class, okay, so kita convert that, okay, in terms of text and PDF, image and PDF and share online. So that is considered as substitution. Okay, so sebab sebelum ni kita just share di kelas, tunjukkan pada student, okay, but now we the Word PDF yang kita upload, the component that we upload, okay, is act as direct substitute. Okay, with no functional change, meaning to say apa yang biasanya kita deliver di kelas and kita upload semula di dalam. So in terms of augmentation pula, okay, with functional improvement, for example, recorded lectures and also instructional videos. Okay, so we can upload it in the YouTube, share the link, or also share the link the ULearn platform. Okay, so the example of that is
coefficient of
instructional
static
videos.
friction. The objective of this experiment are to investigate the coefficient of friction when subjected to different type of surface material and the effect of coefficient of friction when the platform has different angle. The experiment requires an adjustable angle platform, aluminium and steel metal plates, boxes made of plastic and aluminium, and a set of weight. The first step in this experiment is to weigh the plastic and aluminium boxes and the load hanger using a mass balance. The aluminium box is put on the steel platform. Mark the initial location of the aluminium box. The aluminium box is connected to a string. The load hanger is put at the end of the string. Please ensure that the string is properly put in the pulley track. A 0.5 Newton load is put on the aluminium box. To start the measurement, a 0.5 Newton load is put on the load hanger. The load is increased by 0.5 Newton until the aluminium box moves from its initial location. The steps are repeated by increasing the load on the aluminium box. Record the loads on the load hanger. The aluminium box. Repeat the experiment with the plastic box on the steel plate. After that, put the aluminium plate on the platform. Repeat the experiment using the aluminium and plastic boxes. The next stage in the experiment is to adjust the angle of the platform between 15 to 25 degrees. Record the angle of your choice. Repeat the steps for aluminium and plastic boxes on the steel plate and aluminium plate. Record all the loads required to move the boxes and the load on it. Tabulate the data in appropriate tables and plot graph to find the relationships between the friction force and the normal force to the surface.
This is an example. So that traditionally the lecture needs to explain. Okay, so bila kita flip the learning and upload the content, show the step by step how to conduct the experiment. Okay, so student when they come to the classroom, they know what to do. Okay, so this one is considered as they know how to conduct their experience before they come to the classroom. Okay, so untuk video ni, gunakan buat clips. Okay, so saya ambil gambar and dia punya all the steps and lepas tu during dia punya tu saya highlightkan where are the components, label it so that student can identify what are the materials involved, what are the steps involved. Okay, so dia ada dynamic lah. So in terms of so student tahu, okay, what are the first step, the second step, third step, and so on. So yang pelajar boleh prepare before they come to the class, right? So the instruction is clear one by one, right? So dia transform kita punya classroom lah. So masa student tu dia flip, dia masuk ke kelas dengan bersedia berbanding jika traditional they don't know what to expect. Baru waktu dalam kelas baru nak prepare kan. Okay. So another thing yang kita boleh buat pun selain daripada clips adalah gunakan iMovie, boleh edit guna iMovie dan Keynote.
The first step is calibration of the instrumentation by setting up the sound exit point and the sound level meter to more than 80% full screen height. Before we make any measurement, we need to mark the half skip and full skip distance. You can use oil as a couplant to assist the sound transmission during the measurement.
The next step is defect characterization at half skip distance.
get a defect, we need to mark its location. Okay, so that is example of instructional videos. Okay, how to do experiment. Okay, so we can also do a video recording, okay, of our lecture and put that online in a platform. All right. So the next thing is M. Okay, the how to design the punya ni when we reach the modification punya level where we can use animated lectures. Okay, for example, using Keynote and upload our YouTube. Okay, so this is the example of the lecture.
How does the rock in the ground transform into one of the strongest material in the world? The steelmaking process starts with raw iron ore. Raw iron ore consists of impurities such as silicon and phosphorus from the earth. The elemental iron is extracted using magnetic rollers. Same time, coal is cleaned from impurities to put into furnace. It resulted in elemental carbon in the furnace called coke. These elements are then clumped and heated together in the furnace. The steelmaking process are divided into two categories, primary and secondary steelmaking. Primary steelmaking involves melting scrap in an electric arc furnace or converting molten iron from blast furnace via basic oxygen steelmaking. Direct reduction of iron ore to metallic iron by using natural gas and recycled scrap iron are the feed materials to the electric arc furnace. The basic oxygen steelmaking utilizes liquid iron from the blast furnace as the main feed materials. Ore is blown into the molten iron, reduces the carbon content in the alloy and changes it into steel. This process produces molten iron or pig iron. Secondary steelmaking involves refining the steel before casting agents are added. Manufacturers often added additives to strengthen steel such as chromium, nickel, titanium and other variety of elements. These processes involve dissolved gases and inclusions in the steel. Adding these elements produce different steel alloys with different strength and mechanical properties. Finally, the molten iron passes through continuous caster and forms into the final shape to cold or other form of semi-finished casting products such as slabs and billets.
Adalah contoh, okay, yang kita boleh animate kan, that it increase the understanding of the student. So in terms of they can visualize it, how the lagi satu lecture.
Welding is the method of joining two plates together to create fusion. Droplets of molten metal that are splashed during the welding process is called weld spatter.
The example of welding defects are lack of fusion, cracks, and undercut. Okay, so dalam NDT, right? So they are looking for defects. So sometimes the defect tu is happen inside the material. So kita tak nampak. So with the use of animation, we can visualize it so that, oh, okay, where is the location of the defect? What are the types of defect? Okay, and differentiate what the types of defect through the animation. Okay, so that one, okay, we already modified their experience in learning because before this, maybe from just hafal je dia punya type of defect, but now they understand where is the location, how dia punya bentuk, di mana dia punya character of each of the defect. Okay, Dan seterusnya is we can also make it as a virtual lab. Okay, so contohnya daripada Keynote pun kita boleh gunakan to create the virtual lab, or also kita boleh juga gunakan Reality Composer. Okay, so for example for the virtual lab, alright, so this one is my virtual lab yang saya design for my student. Dalam ni, okay, there are a few component. Okay, the first component is industry, pre-knowledge, method, quiz, and also task. Okay, so this is like an apps. So student dia ada privilege untuk personalize dia punya learning. So according to their level lah. So kalau student tu dah advance, dia mungkin boleh terus pergi ke method, quiz and task. Okay, but kalau student yang at different, dia mungkin from all the notes dengan lecture yang kita dah bagi, tapi dia still struggling, right? So they can go to the and look for all the contents. Okay, so for example, okay, this one still under construction. Okay, so contoh the welding effects tadi, right? So kita repeat balik in the virtual lab. So they have option whether to go to the pre-knowledge punya information or straight away go to methods. So for example dalam this subject dia ada 6 chapter. So let's say they go to the ultrasonic testing. So they are principle, instrumentation, procedures and yang the student needs to know. Okay, so at the end kita boleh buat virtual test and also quiz to assess their understanding. So for example, like go to the procedure. So dekat sini kita boleh dividekan what are the more content yang dia belajar lah. For example, dekat sini adalah straight beam and angle beam. So which one they want to learn first. Alright, so for every step untuk procedure tu, dia ada calibration, measurement and also defect characterization. So they can go whether maybe they need to learn about calibration. Okay, so they can choose.
Adjust the test reach to the maximum distance we want to inspect. Adjust the material velocity according to material of inspection. Adjust the P delay so that the initial pulse starts from 0. Adjust the D delay so that the backwall echo appear at the end of test range. Adjust the magnitude of backwall echo so that it reach more than 80% full screen height.
Okay, so that one is the procedure for calibration, right? So let's say student already know dia punya how to do the calibration and also the testing. So dia boleh pilih lagi what are the things yang they need to learn, right? So this one acts like an apps and student can plan or free to use, free to select what are the components that they want to learn first. Okay. So, and there is also quiz. So this one. Okay. So, option. Okay, what are the things that to learn? Okay, so this one is considered a redefinition because this lecture notes or virtual lab, the creation that previously tak conceivable lah. So because before this we have to go one by one, right? But now when we put everything in our app, student can select which one they want to learn first. Okay, and decide which one they can repeat it. Let's say they already learn about method, but they think that they need to come back to the knowledge that they need to have before they start the experiment. So they akan boleh go back to the pre-knowledge, right? So this one is more personalized according to student punya level lah. Okay, so this one is untuk virtual lab. Virtual lab tu gunakan apps Keynote sahaja. Okay. pada Keynote dan saya gunakan hyperlink linkkan daripada satu section of the subject ataupun lesson tu ke lesson yang lain. Okay, selalunya kita buat contohnya chapter 1, 2, 3, di bawah chapter tu pun ada pecahan sub-chapters. Okay, so dekat dalam ni saya susun supaya dia boleh pilih mungkin dia nak pergi ke chapter 1 dulu. Okay, ataupun macam di contoh saya dia lebih kepada method pre-knowledge. Dia ada quiz, virtual quiz dengan dia punya task. Okay, so di each method tu dia pun ada each method yang berlainan. So di setiap method dia ada cara calibration, cara buat eksperimen dan also dia punya defect detection. So contohnya yang ini semua ada animasi di Keynote. Okay, menggunakan shape dan juga some drawings lah. Okay. So ni ada juga gambar image yang kita masukkan. So kita boleh share dalam bentuk HTML, okay, ataupun kita boleh upload di dalam iCloud dan share the link with the student. At the moment sebab saya belum ada website, so saya share dalam iCloud. So student dia boleh and they can open the link lah. Okay, but kita kena setting di Keynote tu supaya the student dia boleh view saja, dia tak boleh edit. Dan guna device lain, okay, kita boleh upload di dalam website. Okay, convert dia kepada HTML dan upload di website. Sebahagian dia adalah daripada bentuk video. Keynote asal dia dan convert kepada video, dan tapi untuk dapatkan the personalized Keynote tu supaya kita boleh tap whichever component yang kita nak learn dulu, kita boleh upload dia in the iCloud. So even kalau student yang tak ada Apple device pun, bila kita share of the link punya iCloud tu, they can still open it untuk ni. Cuma agak limited dan bukan limited, macam mana, dia agak slow nanti. Because dia depends on the strength of kita punya internet. HTML better. So it can be shared in website lah using HTML. Student saya pun dah gunakan yang mana bukan menggunakan Apple device. So saya share saya punya iCloud link and they can open it with their PC. Okay, majority yang share ni dia share dengan dia test dengan PC. Sebab bila dengan handphone dia kata terlalu berat. So dia punya handphone tak boleh buka. Tapi with their desktop they can actually boleh buka lah and try. Cuma student pernah cuba yang ada iPad and also student test dengan desktop, dia buat sebelah-sebelah. Memang of course siapa yang ada iPad tu dia lebih laju lah berbanding kawan yang gunakan desktop tu. Sebab load pada iCloud, so mungkin yang mana dekat iCloud guna iPad tu dia lagi laju lah in terms of dia punya accessibility tu. Okay, alright. So that is how we can, the educators can create the lesson design for outside the class using a SAMR model. Okay, so let's go to can we do inside the class, right? So during the class, punya strategi kita boleh buat active learning, collaborative learning, alright. So discussion or debate, right? So based on what are the materials that we already upload in the online lah, right? So where the student can access before they come to the class. Okay, so we can give a peer instruction for this. Okay, so what are the educators' roles in class? Alright, so because they already create the resources, right? So masa in class management, they have to create activities. Okay, so what are the activities for student? Okay, sama ada daripada segi notes, tutorial, quiz, test, assignment, lab ni, that they can use inside the classroom, right? And student akan do the activities in the classroom using technology. Okay, so as in terms of substitution, okay, kita can upload worksheet, tutorial question, okay, and also in terms of student, they can download dia punya worksheet and tutorials and buat dia punya answer that according to the worksheet and submit back to us, okay, ataupun in terms of lab report. So for example, okay, ini contoh dia punya substitution. Okay, student they write the report, okay, using any word processing punya application, okay, print it out, okay, ataupun now kita boleh submit online, okay, so that is considered a substitution because mungkin traditionally we write using handwriting, but now this one is a very static punya submission. Okay, so they can also use table untuk create dia punya reporting, okay, dia punya graph, okay. So this one is more into direct substitution. Ataupun they can do presentation, right? Dia boleh airdrop, okay, guna ke Apple TV ataupun any smart TV and do presentation just using dia punya mobile phone. Okay, so that is considered a direct substitution, okay, using technology. Okay, so untuk augmentation pula, okay, we can use contohnya untuk buat quiz. Alright, kita boleh buat Mentimeter, kita boleh gunakan Padlet, kita boleh gunakan Kahoot, right? So for example, we can also brainstorming dengan feedback. Okay, so right, so boleh tengok dekat sini. This one is my Padlet, okay, untuk subject NDT, right? So we can do the brainstorming. Okay, ask the student some question and let them answer that. Okay, using their mobile phone. Okay, so that or any iPad or their desktop, so that they can access that and answer, do the brainstorming online, right? So they can read or their other friends punya ideas lah, right? So they can share their ideas and they can also or read others punya their friends punya ni lah. Okay, so kalau tak boleh masuk pun tak apa, saya just tunjukkan. Right, so here we can put question. Here add column, okay, and we can post any question. Post your question here, right? So you can post your question here, and then if you want to share with your tap on here, dia ada share here code. So here student boleh scan with their mobile phone ataupun dia punya iPad, right? So and they can have, okay, and directly into our, right? Tambah di sini, alright? So dekat sini ada button plus, alright? So this is the function to add any new post, alright? So testing for SAMR. Okay, so bila kita post, right? So we will create new post dekat sini, alright? So let's say we have some topic and we want the student, we can post the question. Okay, so student can brainstorm the idea and also comment on others punya. Okay, for example here, okay, student ni, okay, my question adalah what are the question they have on still on the MPI, right? So the student post question. So either I answered that question, or their friends can help to answer that question, right? So we can use Padlet. Dia adalah one of the powerful method lah in terms of to have a brainstorming punya idea. Okay. Alright. So another one is kita boleh gunakan sebab student ni dia adalah biasa dengan dia punya handphone. Okay, so we can ask them to use their handphone to replace textbook ataupun buku daripada library. So using their handphone, okay, they can be more resourceful sebab dia boleh gunakan cari the information from YouTube, daripada Sign Direct, daripada all the ada banyak website yang they can find the information compared to if they just use textbook to find information. The next level is modification. Okay, so where student create collaboration report. Alright, so that is considered for allow for significant task redesign. So for example, untuk this subject, dia involve a lot of lab, a lot of process. Okay, so what they need to do adalah to record all the process and do some video. We can see dia punya collaboration. example of student punya report, okay, in terms of video. So they record all the process, okay, in the lab, and then report all the process and also their findings, okay, in terms of video. So we can see that bila kita ask the student produce a video, okay, dia akan encourage collaboration between the group members. Okay, so dia akan ada student engagement of dia punya planning macam mana nak create, nak ambil shoot gambar daripada which angle. Alright, so that is the modification where we redesign instead of hantar report yang written into the video type. So the next level is the recording of lab experiment ataupun recording of AR. So for example, in this subject, okay, so kita gunakan AR, okay, so in the classroom, so that they have this one is subject about valve replacement, how they use AR, okay, inside the classroom and record it as a video.
Good morning to everyone. So today our subject is valve and the pipelines. So as you can see here is we have 3 valve and some of the pipelines. And the alert that we have today is the fluctuating in the valve sensor.
Valve here, and we suspect that the valve here got something wrong. So we are going to make some analysis to identify the failures.
Analysis, we can prove that this one have fluctuate value in right and wrong during. Still, we identify the valve that has a problem. So there are 4 steps that needs to replace the valve. First, we replace, we shut off the valve 1. Second, we shut off the valve. Third, we remove the bolt and nut. And fourth, we take out the damaged valve and replace with the new valve.
Okay, so you can see that during that content, right? So they redefine student punya learning, right? So they are using AR in the classroom and then record it and also do the editing in the iMovie. Similarly dengan report yang dekat modification tadi, right? That where yang tu dia just record what are the things that all the process yang dia record di dalam lab session. Okay, and then they edit with the information inside. Dia buat editing di dalam iMovie. Okay, so I guess that's all untuk flip learning. So macam mana kita boleh bagi contoh, kita boleh create our lesson using SAMR model. Okay, so daripada whether kita decide itu just untuk substitute, okay, ataupun augmented with some functional improvement, okay, or modify it, okay, so that we can transform the actual learning tu, okay, or redefinition where we create something sebab bila student dalam classroom create dia punya content, right, they become our co-curator. So we can use that to share with other groups ataupun other session, right? What are the things that the student already done in the class? Okay. So in the flip ni yang penting adalah dia give our flexible environment, right? So student dia boleh access all the information anytime, anywhere. Okay, so the learning culture pun kita boleh, right? Dia adalah bukan lagi teacher centered, but this more to student centered. Okay, let's go into dia punya learning culture. I is intentional content and P is professional educators. Alright, So dia ada space and time frame. Okay, meaning to say before kita start our class session, so student already get all the information before they come to the class. Alright, and they can choose when and where they learn. And so we also provide different ways to learn content and demonstrate mastery. So daripada tadi, before outside the classroom, dia ada level sama ada substitute, or we want to make it augmented, or we want to modify dia punya modification or redefinition. Okay, so if we sampai dekat, kita boleh provide some apps untuk allow them to personalize their learning, so they can actually master all the content, okay, by the time they come to our class, right? So L is learning culture. So kita dedicate the class time untuk explore more topics in depth. Okay, so dia akan create a rich learning opportunities. So student dia akan ada, dia boleh explore in terms of they already know daripada our instructional video what are the experiment ataupun what are the equipment that they need to use, right? So in the classroom ataupun in the lab tu nanti dia boleh explore more, and dia boleh what are the other parameters that involve ataupun affect dia punya lab session lah. Alright, and student can actively participate, involved in knowledge construction, right? So macam in terms of bila they took the video, okay, they understand what are the process, and dia boleh create more lah, become more creative. So intentional content, kita create, okay, as educator, we can create and curate the content relevant to our student based on the level. So we decide, okay, because we plan what are the content that we want to share with them, right? So we can select, or we can identify which level yang kita nak share dengan student. Okay, so that kita boleh maximize kita punya classroom time. So let's say they just share in terms of text, right? So bila dalam classroom mungkin they have to show again. But if we already show in the instructional videos, so student dia boleh explore more in terms of what are the parameters affecting the lab, right? So it becomes more student-centered and active learning punya approach, right? So bila kita buat flip, right? So we can also become the professional educator, because kita can, the educator, we can observe student punya performance. So record what are the things for future instruction. For example, let's say kita dah share our instructional lab, okay, and bila student masuk ke lab dan dia buat eksperimen, and kita observe, oh, we should improve our instructional video to add a few things that are missing during our instructional video, right? So we can continuously improve in terms of our content and also delivery to the student, right? So at the same time, bila kita all the contents are accessible online before the class or after the class, right? So kita masa dalam sesi classroom tu, so guru-guru, cikgu-cikgu, doktor-doktor semua boleh give feedback pada student. Okay, so what are they doing? Okay, mungkin boleh bagi feedback. Okay, macam video pelajar tengah buat eksperimen tadi, dia tunjukkan dia punya apa yang dia sedang buat tu. So saya sebenarnya sedang komen, okay, this one is not enough, right? So kita boleh bagi feedback. So they have to do more untuk in terms of dia punya polishing tadilah. Alright, so we can give some other group feedback or individual feedback in real time. Okay, so maksudnya waktu tu juga kita boleh comment on dia punya student. Okay, so I think that's all untuk flip using SAMR model. Ada soalan ke yang boleh saya bantu jawab? Mengapa SAMR model?
Penting.
That one, dia punya content tu adalah apa yang dia tak faham tu adalah straightforward. Kita boleh minta dia think balik. Kita punya in terms of like notes ke, kita punya bullet ke, so that untuk bagi dia lebih faham. Ataupun kita boleh explain directly di dalam kelas. Boleh tahu, okay, dia akan increase dengan teacher punya interaction, right? So bila kita dah upload that content outside the classroom to online, right? So kalau dalam online saya punya Ulearn tu, kita boleh tahu siapa student yang dah tengok, siapa yang dah baca, siapa yang dah complete, berapa persen dia dah complete. Alright, so because all the contents tu adalah online, so dan kita boleh track. Okay, especially siapa yang gunakan LMS lah, Learning Management System. Right, so kalau misalnya dalam Ulearn tu saya boleh tahu, okay, student ni dah 70% complete dia punya learning. Okay, this one start lagi. So kita boleh tahu student mana yang tak access lagi all the information, ataupun student mana yang already completed all the information. So bila dalam classroom pun, bila kita gunakan SAMR model ni, kita boleh encourage the 4C. Communication, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking. So kita nampak bila kita provide ataupun create activities yang ke M, modification and redefinition, kita nampak student tu akan jadi lebih kreatif, lebih aktif di dalam kelas. Okay, nampak tadi video macam mana student collaborate, macam mana dia communicate within dia peer dengan dia punya peers. Okay, and dia nak plan in terms of video. So mungkin video yang saya share ni mungkin bukan video yang terbaik, tapi in terms of we can see that the student, because this is yang video yang saya share ni adalah video-video student yang first time buat. Dia sebelum ni tak pernah buat video dalam kelas, and suddenly dia kena buat video report, dia kena belajar AR. So mungkin nampak belum pro lagi kan, tapi kalau kita sentiasa biasakan, okay, dia akan jadi lama-kelamaan they can get the skill lah, get creative with dia punya lesson tu.
Ada soalannya daripada Ustaz Syakir ni, bagaimana nak apply SAMR model pada MBK ni, masalah penglihatan. Maknanya pelajar yang ada masalah penglihatan yang belum terdedah dengan gadget semasa di sekolah, dia bergantung kepada braille dan juga kertas braille.
Okay, kalau dengan iPad kita ada accessibility function. So kita boleh gunakan make full use of the accessibility function dekat dalam iPad. So mungkin contohnya kita boleh buat gunakan podcast. Okay. So yang tu dia dah masuk ke level bila kita create podcast tu, kalau dia dah level sama ada substitute, dia boleh juga masuk ke modification. Bergantung kepada konten yang kita buat lah. Okay, so selain daripada tu, kalau masalah penglihatan kan, okay, so kita boleh gunakan audio function lah.
Pelajar yang ada masalah penglihatan, macam mana nak kita nak apply SAMR model. So sebenarnya kalau kita sebut SAMR model ni, betul kan doktor? Kalau kita sebut SAMR model ni, dia maksud dia satu model bagaimana kita nak kita kata dalam konteks ni, bila kita menggunakan teknologi dalam kelas ataupun dalam kita kata PDP, kita menggunakan teknologi dalam PDP, bagaimana teknologi itu digunakan sebenarnya, bila, di mana, bagaimana, itu maksudnya. Tapi teknologi dalam PDP dan kita mengajar dengan kaedah yang sama, maknanya itu yang dikatakan sebagai substitution. Kita gunakan bahan-bahan kita hanya tukar dia menjadi digital saja, tapi dari segi delivery dia masih lagi samalah, macam katakan PDF. Kita bagi PDF tu digital, maknanya kalau kita guna teknologi instead of kita guna kertas ataupun handout. Tapi pelajar kita, tak semua pelajar dia baca PDF tu dia akan faham. Adalah kemahiran membaca, kemahiran kefahaman tu berbeza-beza antara setiap orang kan. Jadi sebab itu bila kita buat macam contoh tadi doktor buat instruction itu dibuat dalam bentuk video, maknanya kita dah menggunakan teknologi, kita gunakan teknologi untuk kita augment delivery kita. Jadi maksudnya kat situ kenapa kita guna teknologi tu untuk kita modify, kita ubah suai kaedah PDP kita untuk kita redefine. Itu hasil dia adalah berbeza. Ada soalan daripada Z, boleh tak kongsikan maklumat lanjut tentang SAMR, ada tak reading materials?
Pasal SAMR tu kita actually boleh look up, ada banyak dia punya
dalam dekat Google kan?
look up on SAMR model. Okay, so there are a lot of reference dekat situ macam mana all the educators already implement ataupun gunakan the SAMR ni dalam dia punya classroom lah.
Rakaman lah, kita akan kongsikan rakaman ni selepas kita edit nanti, kita akan kongsikan rakaman ni kepada semua. InsyaAllah kita akan letak dalam grup, ada beberapa channel termasuk juga nanti kita akan kongsikan cikgu semua channel-channel educators yang kita ada. Jadi insyaAllah kita akan kita akan bagi video tu semua di situlah insyaAllah.
Ya betul.
Okey, terima kasih Dr. Zakia. Diharapkan perkongsian ini banyak memberi manfaat kepada rakan-rakan. Jadi sekarang saya akan kongsikan pula borang, cikgu boleh scan barcode. Dah Dr. Zakia dah letak link ya dalam chat. Jadi boleh tak sempat scan barcode ni boleh tengok kepada di chat. Dan di sini saya nak pesanan penaja lah. Ini untuk from high-ed daripada pengajian tinggi, bolehlah scan pautan ni sekiranya belum lagi masuk dalam grup Telegram, grup Telegram Apple High-ed Educators. Okay, boleh scan dulu. Pautan untuk community Apple Teacher Community di Malaysia. Kalau yang belum jadi ahli lah, sekarang ni Apple Teacher Community kita memang dah beribu dah ahli dia ya. Ini Apple Teacher Community ni sebenarnya dalam ni ada semua daripada cikgu sekolah rendah, cikgu sekolah menengah, pensyarah, semua ada daripada luar negara juga. Dan ini khusus untuk MARA Apple Teacher, mana-mana pendidik MARA boleh grup Telegram Maplet. Dan banyak perkara lah sebenarnya yang kita kongsikan dalam grup ini. Dan ini yang tadi disebut oleh Puan Wan Nuraini ya, Apple Learning Community Malaysia, ini dalam Facebook. So kalau rakan-rakan sekalian tak belum jadi friend kan, bolehlah join, search saja dalam Facebook Apple Learning Community Malaysia. So kebanyakan pelbagai bahan sebenarnya yang kita kongsikan dalam Apple Learning Community ni dalam Facebook. Okey, ini para pendidik semua boleh juga scan QR code ni. Okey, ini semua adalah recorded sessions, video yang kami letakkan di apa nama apps ni, lupa lah pula tiba-tiba.
Padlet.
Padlet, yes. So, thank you. Yang kita letakkan di Padlet maknanya semua sesi-sesi daripada Apple Professional Learning Series yang telah diadakan daripada awal tahun hari itu hinggalah sekarang. So kalau katalah sebelum ni cikgu tuan-tuan dan puan-puan ada ketinggalan dalam program subjek konten ke dalam apa-apa saja yang telah program yang kami anjurkan, boleh scan the QR code ataupun pergi ke pautan itu untuk menonton semula lah. video yang disediakan. Maknanya kita letak program-program yang kita buat daripada bulan April hari itu, ada yang tengah hari, ada yang pagi, ada siang, ada malam, semua kita letak dekat situ. Dan insya-Allah sesi kita yang 4 sesi ini pun kita akan letakkan juga di Padlet tersebut. Right, dan
kita akan share semua link lah.
Yes, betul. Kita akan share. Jadi kita letak di Padlet, tapi link tu kita akan share dekat dalam kumpulan-kumpulan tu tadilah. Dan kepada para pendidik sekalian, this is a good opportunity to upgrade our skills actually by becoming an Apple teacher. Boleh scan QR code tu. QR code ni akan terus bawa kita kepada website Apple Education, Apple Teacher. So dalam ni apa yang ada sebenarnya ialah sangat banyak ya, bahan-bahan atau kita kata sumber yang boleh membantu kita untuk nak menghasilkan bahan-bahan pembelajaran yang lebih kita kata lebih advance lah dan menepati kalau kita kata menggunakan teknologi tu, kalau kita nak bawa kepada SAMR, saya rasa dalam ni pun ada maklumat tentang SAMR model. Dan kalau katakan misalnya mungkin tadi berkaitan dengan soalan doktor, nak tanya tentang Keynote, nak tanya tentang nak tahu lebih lanjut tentang Pages, tentang apa saja apps yang banyak digunakan, yang diberi secara percuma dalam iPad, kita boleh buka dalam Apple Teacher. Yang ni saya patah balik semula, Apple Teacher. So dia memang banyak resources dalam ni, sangat banyak sumber. Dan yang saya rasa paling menarik lah untuk saya, dia membantu kita untuk upgrade skill, kemahiran-kemahiran. Macam mana kita nak menghasilkan bahan-bahan secara digital. Alright. Ini satu lagi website juga yang disediakan oleh Apple untuk education. Kita sebut everyone can create. So dalamnya ada pelbagai bahan-bahan, kita kata project guides yang boleh digunakan oleh pendidik dalam, mungkin kita tengok contoh yang diberi tapi kita akan adaptasikan di dalam subjek kita lah, bagaimana kita nak menggunakannya dalam subjek kita. So ada banyak bahan di sini. Right. Okay, ini dalam memang kita kata ni agaklah tentang sebagai pendidik yang kita boleh gunakan, macam mana yang dalam syllabus atau dalam curriculum everyone can create. Macam mana kita nak menghasilkan muzik menggunakan GarageBand, macam mana kita nak melukis, macam mana kita nak mengambil gambar. Dia bukan saja sekadar macam melukis ataupun mengambil gambar ataupun kita mengambil video saja, tapi bagaimana kita ada dan menggunakan kelebihan yang ada aplikasi, hasilkan bahan-bahan kita dalam bentuk digital. So bahan-bahan kita dalam bentuk digital itulah bila kita telah mengubah kaedah kita penghasilan. Kalau dulu kita selalu sebut ABM kan, maksudnya kita augment, kita tukar, instead of substitution, so kita dah beralih kepada augmentation dan kemudian kita akan beralih pula menjadi modification. So resources ni ataupun kita sumber-sumber ini mungkin membantu kita sikit sebanyak untuk kita start daripada basic hingga kita jadi advance. Tapi ada some people, ada setengah-setengah daripada kita memang dia dah hebat, dia tengok ikut kursus online saja ni pun dia dah boleh jadi lebih hebat lagi lah daripada presenter. So
kita punya sesi seterusnya hari Sabtu nanti dengan Fariha on classroom punya gunakan SAMR sendiri.
Hari Sabtu nanti ya, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan pukul 2.30 juga masa yang sama, sesi bersama saya. Kita nak melihat pula dalam classroom design. So macam mana kita nak orang kata nak modify ke, nak redefine ke classroom kita punya approach in teaching and learning. Alright, insyaAllah kita jumpa lagi hari Sabtu nanti. Okay.
Terima kasih semua.
Ya,